So Sheila, what do you think aging in place looks like for folks?
Oh, I want to stay at home. I don't want to have to go anywhere but my own house.
Yeah, no, I understand. I also want to
Yeah.
age in my own home for as long as possible or forever if I can. Chronic ongoing conditions with the aging process doesn't mean that you have to move.
hmm
There's many services offered to keep you home so that you can do just that, age
Sure.
in place.
So maybe in this episode, we can get into some of the key elements that talk about how to age in place and do that gracefully.
Oh, that sounds great. I would very much welcome that. And welcome to Aging Ann Arbor. You're watching A3 Aging Ann Arbor, where we talk about aging and what you need to know. I'm Faye Molitor.
And I'm Sheila Doden.
Welcome to the show. So, hi, Sheila and I are super excited to invite all of you and welcome all of you to A3 Aging Ann Arbor, our very first episode, and we are going to be talking about aging in place today. We both have a background in home care. We've been working together, and we own a home care company in Ann Arbor, and for 14 years. So we've come across a lot of folks that want to age in place. That's where they want to be, and that's where we want to keep them.
Sure. Yeah. I know that from my experience way back in the mid 80s, I worked in a long-term care facility, which it looks a bit different now in 2023, but it hasn't changed a lot. Now you find there's, more residences like assisted living, independent living, things like that. Most of the people we're working with, 80% of them, they want to be in their own homes.
Yep.
And so a lot of why I'm doing this is because a lot of people that were in that facility that I worked in were displaced. They didn't have the ability to be able to stay in their home. They didn't have someone that could aid them or assist them in their home when they needed the help. And that's why we do what we do, so that we can help people age in their own homes where they want to be.
Sure, yeah. And for me, I'm doing this because I am the baby of 7. I have 6 siblings, and my mother was 42 when she had me and my twin brother. So my parents were up there in age, and by the time I was graduating high school, there were health conditions happening, and we were all caregivers, the whole family. And I'll tell you what, it was super difficult to facilitate the care that was needed for my folks, even with 7 of us.
Sure.
It was crazy. And of course, we wanted to keep them home. So we all worked together to make that happen. You and I are lucky enough and blessed enough to be able to help folks do that now. Back then, this type of service, the type of service we offer, that
Didn't
wasn't
exist.
available. No, it was a sniff or nothing.
Yeah.
Assisted livings weren't, it wasn't a thing, yeah. So, yeah, I'm super happy that we can keep people at home with what we do, and all of the professional partners in the area
Sure.
too, working together. It does take a village.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, that's what we wanted to talk about today was really there's, a few different things that people should consider if they want to age in place. We've seen quite a different scenario and a lot of different clients that we've worked with, but I think one of the biggest things that we see people are dealing with is vision issues.
Yeah.
They can't drive anymore,
Yeah.
or they have a hard time being able to identify, things in their home. So
Yeah, and it can be simple vision. I mean, like glaucoma, cataracts, but it can also be as in depth as like macular, where they're literally losing their vision, and that's difficult.
Yeah.
They can't drive anymore. They can't see their phone. They can't see the TV necessarily. They're having some difficulties. So we definitely step in and set that home up in a way that it facilitates them being safe and staying there.
Yeah, sometimes even with vision issues, changes of plane, if there's throw rugs on the floor, they can be a trip hazard to them.
Yep.
So, we're not there to tell people what to do, but we're there to help them and make suggestions. And if folks, want to take those suggestions to heart and make some minor modifications, people can stay home, and we really feel like we can make a difference for them in that regard.
Along with many, many folks in the Ann Arbor area that are also servicing the elders, the seniors, or the people with disabilities. So it isn't just seniors. It isn't just elderly people. It can be anyone that has challenges with mobility or cognitive issues or those types of things that need the help.
Yeah.
So we definitely have a village out here with transportation services, our in-home services, caregivers going in and helping them in what capacity that may be, and not taking away their independence. We always say we're here to help in whatever capacity that may mean for you, but we are not here to take over, and we are not here to tell you what to do. That isn't what we do.
Right.
So we're only here to support you in a way that you can live as independently with a quality of life in your home for as long as you choose to.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
I mean, I think one of the other things that we see people deal with a lot are back problems, and just being able to move things around if they need to, carrying a laundry basket up and down their basement steps. Sometimes we would, suggest to people that maybe they bring the laundry upstairs on the main level, and put it adjacent to a bathroom or tuck it away in a closet. It does alleviate them from having to carry a laundry basket up and down the stairs.
And it keeps them home. Yeah. They don't end up having to go into a facility. Right. It's simple things like that.
Right.
It seems like an entailed job, but it's really not. It's not a difficult thing to do.
Yeah. I mean, bringing things down to people's level. Faye and I were talking earlier. My husband and I just did some minor modifications in our kitchen, and I was telling him, this is going to help us age in place easier because, we won't have to crawl on our hands and knees to see what's in our lower cupboards. We put rollouts in, so all we have to do is pull the rollout out, and we can see what's right there. And,
Come on, Sheila, we're at the age where we should be doing that stuff anyway.
Well, I'm not thinking about now. I'm thinking about later. So, taking an eye-level microwave and putting a drawer microwave in it, a top loader. You don't even have to pull the arm to open the thing. There's a button. You hit it, and it says open.
Sure.
And close. Sure. I mean,
but there are simple things that folks could do so that they don't have as many mobility issues or cognitive issues. So living a nice, healthy lifestyle and staying as active as they can could maybe help with that as well. Sure. So staying home for as long as or aging in place can mean just, defining when you feel like you need to make a change maybe in your lifestyle.
Sure.
And that could help you. If you start at an earlier age, it'll help you even more.
Sure. Not only physically, but cognitively.
Sure.
I mean, mental stimulation is huge for people.
Yeah.
So we've seen a lot of that. Just being social a lot of times.
Oh, yeah.
And being able to engage with someone in a conversation can help stimulate a lot of those cognitive things for folks.
Yeah,
and just keep them
crossword
engaged.
puzzles, word searches.
For sure.
There's all kinds of online, apps now that are, brain stimulating.
Sure. But
yeah, just playing board games. You're social and you're using your brain. You're keeping everything clicking.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I think a big thing for a lot of people is that they're not able to drive anymore due to either vision issues or, their cognitive value is depleted, their reactionary time. Yeah, they just don't have, that ability to be able to do that. So that's where
that's tough too. Man, that's tough. I think a lot of the clients that we've seen over the 14 years that we've been doing this type of work,
Yeah.
I think that's the most difficult thing for
Well, yeah, they
folks.
lost their independence.
They're in their home, but they've lost the ability to drive and do the things that they need to do when they want to do it. And a lot of them, they grew up in an era where automobiles were like new to them. This was a new concept. And now they can't use them anymore. And that's super sad. But we do our best to introduce, professional partners again, transportation services. There's local services that will work with their income that they can sign up for that will come and pick them up and get them to where they need to go for groceries and to appointments.
Sure.
There's many things we can do that way. It doesn't make it any easier for the person,
No.
though. You wish it did, but it doesn't.
I know I don't.
You gotta
have to
hide
drive
the key.
anymore.
Yeah, take the car, get it out of sight, out of mind. You hope. Yeah,
Yeah. I mean, that's challenging for families as well because they know their mom or dad shouldn't be driving anymore. Yeah. They've ridden in the car with them and they're like, Mom should not be driving anymore. And how do you handle that? But that's a topic for a whole nother conversation.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, even with cognitive issues, even with severe cognitive issues, we can work with folks as long as they're not trying to escape and leave the home. If they are living alone, they have, living alone. If they're living alone and they're not trying to wander, we can go in and we can help them stay there. Even with pretty severe cognitive issues. They love their home. That's where they want to be. Sure. They may have you sign in when you get there because they were a teacher in their day. And you have to sign this if you're going to walk into my house so I can mark you in as here.
Right.
So that you don't get an absent. But with pretty severe cognitive issues, we can put support services together along with us if we can be there to keep folks home.
Well, and that, I think with the cognitive issues, you take someone out of their familiar environment and place them somewhere where they've never been, and they're way more confused. Sure. So definitely, helping them be able to stay in a familiar space. Sure. It really does help, with the cognitive issues as well. Yeah. So, there's so many benefits to being able to age in your own home, but, like I said, there's a lot of room for other conversations there. Sure.
Oh my gosh, yeah. With dementia. Sure. Yeah, for sure. It is definitely a high percentage of who we work with. Yeah. I would say probably 90% of the clients we're working with have some form of cognitive issue. So from mild cognitive impairment to full-on Alzheimer's. And that's only growing in the world. There's 85 underlying conditions. So that's definitely a topic for another show. Yeah. However, it does not mean that you cannot stay home and be safe. Thank you for listening to our very first episode of A3 Aging Ann Arbor. We hope that you enjoyed this podcast, and hopefully we offered a lot of good information about aging in place.
If you have further questions, we'd welcome you to visit our website, seniorhelpers.com, and we're in Ann Arbor, Michigan.
That was A3 Aging Ann Arbor, your source for all things aging.
Please like, share, and subscribe for more episodes. Thanks for watching.
This episode was sponsored by Senior Helpers of Ann Arbor.